Hi, welcome to this week's GMBN Tech Show. Coming up, what have we got?
Down country forks from Olin's.
We've got some waterproof packs and filtration from Camelback.
As some brand new bikes from Orbea.
And probably the coolest bike cove I've ever seen.
So today we're going to talk about the worst MTB tech of all time and some of our hates. Now, I know we've talked about tech that died last week, but we just couldn't stop talking about terrible inventions. So we've got a few, haven't we?
We have.
What have you got up your sleeve?
I'll drag out this old dog from the past. So the flex stem, it's awful.
Obviously.
It was a stem with a pivot that went up and down. What on earth were people thinking?
And we all know this is bad, and yet I feel like there's still some people out there that are kind of designing
Specialised.
flexy things that shouldn't flex. But yeah.
I'm not a fan of a stem that goes up and down. I like my controls to be where they are, but yeah, all right. Devil's advocate, they had a place and they do have a place somewhere for some people.
But current in the world of cockpit terribleness, negative rise handlebars, like Nino Schurter's 30-degree or what? It's just
what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with flat bars?
You're going to hurt Nino Schurter's feelings.
He doesn't have any. He's a robot.
He's not a cyborg. I know people have discussed it. I can confirm he's not because me and him both like his handlebars.
Really?
There's two of us outnumbering you.
What's wrong with the drop stem? If they've got to lower that far, have you got the wrong bike? Surely.
That bike's built for him to go fast on. It works for him.
Maybe the head tube should just be smaller at this
point. I do agree
point.
they are fugly, aren't they?
Yeah,
absolutely, for sure.
Very ugly.
Here's one that made me laugh that you put earlier on. 75mm dropper posts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, what's the point?
And then we saw one.
Yeah,
and you realised
why. Had a bike turn up with a 75mm dropper post.
So what is that? It's like that? Like all that technology, all that weight is blatantly going on a cross-country bike. All that mess on your handlebars is what, don't get me started on extra things on your handlebars.
Oh yeah, when it looks like a snake's wedding at the front there.
All for that.
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it?
Not as ugly as skin suits in downhill. Back in the day.
Yeah, all right. The skin suit in downhill is absolutely hideous, but you can't deny that it's kind of a good thing.
It was a good thing. It was a tech innovation, absolutely for sure. It was tech innovation.
I don't know
they did go faster.
They're wearing borderline skin suits now. Everyone started clipping in their clothes bit by bit. Look at Troy Bosney. He may as well be wearing a skin suit. Downhill is a sport against the clock. It's like you do a downhill ski race, you're going to wear a skin suit, but when you go to slopes, you're not going to wear a skin suit, are you? So why is biking not the same? I never got that.
No, but it didn't look good though, did it?
Well,
I don't think it was good for
What, you think down a ski looks good in Lycra?
Well, that's why UCI banned it. 2008, it banned it because
they were lobbied by riders,
I think. Yeah, I think you might be right.
To be fair. All right,
it doesn't look good. Come on.
God, let's move on. I don't have to wear one, so I don't care. Not my problem. Going back to an innovation that's thankfully in the past, unified rear triangles, when they basically put a pivot in the middle of the bike. So you'd have your drivetrain on one half of the bike, and then when you sat down, the suspension worked, but when you stood up, it didn't, which for some reason people used to think was a really good idea.
Wait, what?
I want it to pedal like a hardtail, but when I sit down and ride over grannies, I can't feel the tins of cat food.
That's the opposite, is it not?
Yeah. Terrible. Leave it in the past. I'm glad it's gone. And bikes with two shocks.
Yeah.
Too many people have done that.
Yeah, so they should definitely stay in the past.
Yeah,
for sure.
And while we're at it, if you're going to say bikes with two shocks on, so a few people did this. Carpeel have done it with that Armageddon thing. I think Scott did one. I'm going to say Cannondale might have done one in the past. You could also say some more modernised companies have made obscure shocks. Now, Scott have done this. They did it with the equaliser shock that basically had two effective chambers, and it kind of reminds me of what Cannondale did. With the, I forget the name of the shock, the Dyad, perhaps the one that was on the Jekyll. There's two chambers, and when you pressed what was the lockout lever, it turned it into like a 130 bike, and then click it the other way, it'd be a 150 bike. But basically two shocks on one bike, just so it could have like a proprietary system.
It's greedy.
In fact, tech innovations, proprietary systems. There's one, or there's a lot for you. It's just like, can you just make stuff that we can move between bikes? That's what we like.
And it was just ugly. I like cleaner, simpler lines, I think.
Yeah.
And that ruined it, for sure.
Yeah, but do you know what? I think these days things are pretty good. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get, I'm going to get shot down for this, but I think things are mostly on the good end.
Is there any bad stuff now?
There's got to be some like good tech innovations to come from all that bad. And I'm sure there's some bad ones that we've missed out. So let us know what you reckon underneath. And yeah, shoot me down, I don't mind. And shoot her down preferably as well. Because everyone's just saying they love her right now. So come on.
Soz.
What's wrong with negative rise bars? Okay, so straight into news, and Öhlins have got an exciting new fork aimed squarely at downcountry. This is it on screen, and it's got between 120 and 130mm travel, 44mm offset for 29-inch wheels, obviously, and a range of damping adjustments that you'd expect to see on this sort of fork. Now, before we go into too many more of the details, one of the coolest things I think about it is the fact it's e-bike certified. So you can certainly be rest assured this thing is going to be strong. So a bunch of shots of it on screen. So this is RXF 34 fork from Öhlins. And the damper on the inside is the OTX 18. So this is a brand new damper specifically for this fork. Basically, it's like I guess it's like a slimmed down version of the TTX 18 that they've had successfully on their other products in the past. So you've got volume airspace system on them. The air leg is actually the rider's right leg when you look down at the fork, so different orientation to Fox and RockShox that you're probably familiar with. And you've got the damping leg on the other leg. So you've got 15 clicks of low speed compression and rebound available to you, 3 clicks of high speed compression, low friction seals, compatible with up to 2.6-inch tyres. And I think the costing on these things, so it weighs 1,698 grams, nice and light, certainly for what it is. Pound sterling is 1,185, euros 1,294, and US dollars 1,180. Don't know about you, but I think it's a very welcome addition having another fork to sit in the sort of the hardcore trail, you know, just about XC, just about trail category.
Competition's always good, isn't it?
Miss Öhlins are cool, aren't they? They're definitely cool if you're going to be shallow about things.
If you're from the motocross world, I think, you definitely
I just think they're cool.
I'm like, yeah, it's another brand. Cool.
Am I just being shallow, or are Öhlins really cool?
So other things that are cool, we've got Orbea have launched some brand new entry-level mountain bikes. And they're looking pretty cool, actually. They're basically, the geometry is a little more relaxed than the Alma XC bike that they already do. It all comes with air forks and 1x drivetrains on the top models, but disc brakes throughout. And they start at £629, ranging through to £1,099.
That's a bit more like it,
and they're looking really good.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with someone else about my first bike being around about the £650 mark. And people were like, oh, you'd never get that. These days, things are so much more expensive. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's actually a beautiful aluminium bike. It's got a threaded bottom bracket, it's dropper post ready, internal cable routing. It's a nice looking bike. It's not a fitness bike, is it?
No.
It's a good bike.
Explain to me what you mean by fitness bikes. I think I get you what you mean, but I think some people might not get it.
I think it's when people say they want a mountain bike, but really what they want a commuter or the occasional bike to go on a tow path with their kids.
A mountain bike shaped object.
Yes, that is it, yeah. Whereas this looks like you could actually ride a mountain bike. Yeah. So I'm super impressed with that price point and what you get
I do think that, I mean, we ride a lot of nice bikes here, we're very privileged. I do think we should probably look a bit more. There's some more entry level stuff. I don't know what in particular, if anyone's got any ideas, I'd like to know from you. That looks like a really good bike to me.
It does, and it's a small thing, but I like the fact that they're doing all 3 colourways on every single model, so they're not forcing you to go for a top one just because you like a different colour, which often happens, I think, on other brands. But it's a small thing.
Yeah, it's a really good thing. Yeah, so there's going to be links to Orbea and the other stuff we're talking about in the description underneath. Now, next up, there's a whole bunch of camelback stuff I'm sure you're going to talk about, but I've got to talk about the first thing, which is probably the most important thing in my eyes. A waterproof hydration pack. This, living in this country, it's like, why on earth has no one done this sooner? So it's a Mule Evo 12, I think. Yeah, Evo 12. It's a new shaped bag anyway, but it's completely waterproof. Though this is an absolute godsend. You've got a helmet pocket on the outside. You've got your relevant pockets on the inside. A mesh instead of like waterlogging material there. You can fit your phone or your GoPro, whatever you want, in the sort of chest pocket there. Your command center harness. But yeah, it's got everything you need. I just love the fact it's waterproof. Pretty much every ride I go on these days, I have to hose down my bag or my hip pack or whatever I'm wearing, and it ends up either going to the washing machine or just stinking and festering.
Yeah, you can hose that straight down, can't you?
That is a great idea. Can we have a hip pack in this material as well, please, Camelback? Please, I'm asking nicely.
And this is such a small detail, but like this doesn't hold a vast amount of water, but it's still quite breathable, which their old packs were quite thick. before, so
yeah, it just seems like such a good thing, and they're making other good stuff as well, aren't they? I see there's like a cool new bladder from them.
Yeah, so basically the Mule 12 has been updated, and then this is the Mule Evo 12, which is the waterproof edition. And they've started bringing out filtration products. So they're basically combining their products with Life Straw. So you've got the Eddy bottles, which have the Life Straw in it, and you've got a 2-litre Crux reservoir, which also has a Life Straw attached to the back of it. So basically it filters out 99.9% of bacteria, parasites and microplastics for up to about 4,000 litres in life. They also have an ion exchange filter, which reduces basically weird tastes and chemicals like chlorine.
So make ditch water drinkable, pretty much.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the point of it. So I've actually used Life Straws before with Camelback, and you generally take them off and you attach it to that.
Yeah. And
it's not super secure because you've attached it. And now the new reservoir, we don't have one, but that basically sits in the reservoir. So
what a cool idea. So arguably that's like going to be one of the top accessories for bike packing and travelling with your bike.
Yeah, funnily enough,
you can just take water from...
I did the Trans-Savoie back in 2016. It was like the last one, and we were having to get water out of the mountains.
Streams and things.
And
which you'd hope the water's pretty good out there, to be fair.
You would, yeah, but you can't guarantee.
But it's nice to know that you can filter it and it's safe to drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so well done from Camelback there. Absolutely great products there.
Cool. Next up, just a small updated point. Actually, Hope have finally released the Tech V4 brake. This is it on screen. So classic 4-piston stainless steel brakes revamped, essentially. So made from steel and alloy. They've got all the features you expect to see on Hope, with those lovely lever blades, you know, fully machined. You can see the reservoir cap there, and you can see you've got the lever adjustment knobs on there. I've got 30 degrees of angle adjustment and lateral adjustment on both sides of the master cylinder, so you can change the angles basically that you want. They retail for £190 sterling, 235 in euros, 240 US dollars, excluding tax on those, and 12 different colour combos. And as you imagine with Hope stuff, like just about every other option available out there. But we've seen them hovering for quite a while now, so any Hope fans out there, I'm sure will be on top of this already, but always nice to see something that's made like this. You know, it just looks cool.
Yeah, they do look cool, and I like the sort of stainless steel look, and they've sort of reduced the stack as well, which I was never a massive fan of, the sort of bulkiness of those. I
haven't used Hope brakes for so long, I kind of forgotten, to be honest. I used to use them a lot in the magazine days, and just haven't.
I've never. Do you like them?
I used to love them. Yeah, the easiest brakes to look after and bleed and stuff. They more or less look after themselves. Just been riding more or less what's been on the bikes, whether that's Magura or SRAM or, you know, whatever, you just get on with it. But no, I might revisit them at some point. I know Martin's a bit of a fan.
Yeah. So also Propane have launched a new trick shot dirt jump bike. So we did have a question not long ago about dirt jumps and why isn't anyone doing anything, and well, this is proof that dirt jumping ain't dead. So we've got the trick shot. It's basically an aluminium frame with 26-inch wheels, 100mm of front suspension. It's got adjustable dropouts because it's basically a single speed. And it comes with one 4-piston brake, but you do have the option to add a gyro brake if you want infinite bar spins. Brah. So basically, it's about 1,500 euros for that one. And yeah, I think dirt jumps on its way back. I think slope style's like really in the limelight at the moment. People are taking to pump tracks.
It's such a good entry point as well into mountain bikes.
Yeah, so that's that. It looks pretty good. I like the sandy colour and the red bomber forks.
Sandy colour, yeah, well, nice. Hip lock. So, do you know much about Hip Lock? A brand that started by making a lock that you can wear around your hip.
That's how I remember them, basically.
I mean, they make a whole bunch of cool stuff now. They've got like the ground anchor, which we've got the retro bike here locked up to. And I think on your side over there, they sent us a few of their new bits and pieces.
Oh, yeah. Here's
so you've got a trunk liner from them called the Ride Shield. You've got an organiser and you've got a flip stand. So flip stand, if we go first, this literally is some pads for your handlebars and something to put your saddle on, which I've got a work stand at home. I don't need one, but someone somewhere is going to need this to not wreck your apartment, and obviously if you've got an e-bike or anything with controls on the bars, you don't damage anything. Kind of a nice solution there, just to have a specific thing. You've got this cool organiser, which actually I think this would be quite good for anyone who's got a van and they're not doing it out van style. because you can hang your helmet and your riding shoes and stuff in there equally. Good for the shed or anything like that. Nice to have bike-specific stuff, and it comes with fittings for the wall. And a full trunk liner, which fits most cars. Now, if you keep your bike in the back of a car and you don't have one of these, seriously get one. It changes everything, because these things are more or less waterproof. You can bung your bike straight in, covered in crap. And also, unlike the one that I've got, I forget the brand, but this one has a built-in, almost like a blind that goes over the top of your bike. So once your bike is in the boot, it kind of conceals it as well, which is always a concern. Yeah, so I mean, it's a no-brainer really. If you travel, keeping your bike on the back of the car, I think it's great. These guys are always making like new accessories and things, but don't forget where they came from, making those original hip locks and then the little zip ties. Like the
I love the zip ties, that's so clever. Yeah. Just a tiny little zippy lock with
I think that's one of my most essential things to carry. If I go anywhere, I've always got one on the back of a bag or something.
Can get it in your fanny pack, can't you? Because it's so small.
Could. And last thing in news, a bit of a controversial thing. So Chris Porter, the guy behind Mojo Rising and Geometrons and all of that cool stuff. So he put this post up on his Instagram the other day. He goes, gone back to narrow tyres and skinny rims. Right, so I had this chat with him the other day and we were talking about splitting tyres. Right, now, this is a fact. Since rims have got wider, yeah, you've got loads more support from your tyres and you can do more stuff, and rims have got way stronger. You don't really break wheels much in the same way, but you split tyres because of the effect of the wide rim. He's gone back the other way. He's gone, we're not talking narrow here, we're talking just narrower. Okay. So instead of running 30s, it'll be like 25 to 28 mil rims, slightly narrower tyres, and you don't split the tyres in the same way. Like I think it's just really cool.
A bead, no?
No.
He's so controversial, that man.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what he's about. But I love this. I love the fact that he's always partially willing to go against the grain deliberately, and partially because he's searching. He's kind of like a surfer. He's always searching for the thing that works best for him. And whether you agree with it or not, I think it's great. And mountain biking needs people like him to do that sort of thing.
Now, I like that he's challenging the sort of new norms.
Yeah.
You know, bigger isn't always better, as we know. So, yeah.
But it's cool. Let us know what you think about Chris going back to slightly narrower rims in the comments underneath. You can say that.
Right, next up, it's quiz time. So if you were listening carefully, I did mention this answer. What year did the UCI ban the skin suit in downhill racing?
I didn't hear you say that.
But I did. Yeah, clever. Also, can you name 2 brands that released a bike with the twin shocks? So we were talking about twin shocks earlier. We didn't mention any brands, but if you're super clever...
I did kind of allude to it.
I told you some brand names, but maybe not the model. Also, who makes a work stand optimised around lifting e-bikes and other heavy bikes?
We'll come back to that a bit later on. In the meantime, let's jump into the comments. I'm going to hammer through this because, as usual, you guys are amazing. There's just so many great comments. There's still loads of love for you joining the channel, which is great to see. Yeah, which is all really good. All right, so Onna Scar says, Tech that died, elevated chainstays. I love them. I'm actually sad it went away in the 90s. You're going to love a video we've got coming up soon on Tech. Here's a little screenshot of a bike that is in that video. Next comment from Mario. He says, loving the chemistry between us. This is all good. Great comment, by the way. I'm just going to skip to some of this. Regarding the tools, they're like the bikes. There's always one more that you need. M+1. For me, favourite tool is a torque wrench. Even if I don't have to use it much, I just like the little... Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's quite cool to go through. Jim says, 27.5 plus is ace if the tyre pressure's at the sweet spot. Fast, grippy and fun. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think a lot of people are standing up for plus size. We might have gone a bit too hammer on that one. But yeah, everyone actually, to be fair, the comments I look through, I can't really argue with it. So yeah, maybe you're all right and we're wrong. So Madge says 27.5 plus or 650B plus are not rubbish on hard tyres if a wide rim is used. So yeah, actually there is still room for a wide rim, even though we're talking about narrow rims earlier on.
It's not for everyone.
Colm Dowling says, would love a bike packing video series. Definitely needs to be Western Highlands and go wild camping. You can then test waterproof and adventure stuff rather than the one-nighters lightweight stuff. Yeah, not really interested in the one-nighter stuff. I'd love to get away for a few nights.
We absolutely need to go to the Highlands.
Plus, we're going to have to carry a tripod and camera and all the other cool stuff, so you may as well go for longer.
We can stay in a bothy then.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Jan of Halleck says, of course you want more bike packing content. That belongs to mountain bike more than you think. Good, I'm glad you said that. And then the last one, another bikepacking comment. It says, I'm so stoked for a GMBN Tech bikepacking trip. Come to the Lost Coast of California and see the redwoods.
That's an invite, isn't it? That's an invite.
Sign us up for that. Thanks for the great comments, as always. And for Bike Cave this week, I'm just going to throw you back to where I was last week. I've videoed a little piece in the Mondraker facility where they've got the most insane setup. And you should see all these Park Tool electric work stands, like they're kind of optimised for e-bikes and stuff, but I think they've got like 100 work spaces there. Check this out. So I'm here in Alicante in Spain at the Mondraker Bikes production facility. Now I've seen a lot of production places that put bikes together over the years, but none of them have come close to the way that this place is being run at the moment. On levels of how impressive it is. So downstairs you've got the goods in, so all the forks come from SRAM and the frames come from the factory, all that stuff. And then they have a pre-build essentially. So to make this process a bit better, you've got 7 people that ultimately end up putting a bike together. So in pre-build you're assembling, putting tyres and disc rotors and cassettes on wheels, ready for them to come upstairs to this room here. So they've got 8 rows of these Park electric work stands, and on each row they have different workstations with TV monitors on them that tell the staff exactly the points that they need to put out. Now each member of staff can put out between 8 and 12 bikes a day, depending on if it's a kid's bike or an e-bike. Obviously it's going to take a lot longer with an e-bike because of the cable routing and things like that. You can expect this place to put out about 200 bikes a day. It's absolutely bonkers. Look at all those Park Tool stands. Those things cost a fortune, and apparently they're going up to 100 of those. So there's going to be 100 work stands, basically 100 workstations available in here. That's just bonkers.
Right, and over to our quiz answers. So the skin suit was banned by the UCI in 2008. Not even that long ago, really. Not a bad thing. And
disappointing,
then,
that is.
And then over to the Dual Shocks. I don't know if you got any models there, but there was the Cannondale Proto. We've got a Scott Octane DH as well as on the list, and you put a Kestrel Rubicon. I didn't even know what that was.
Way back. Yeah, that was even weird. It almost had the entire top tube floated on 2 shocks.
Was I even born then?
Bizarre. Maybe not. I can't remember the date. I mean, it looked kind of cool, but it wasn't.
And then the answer for the final one, what powered lifts, was from Park Tools, which you sort of briefly mentioned in your bike cave. Yeah, really. So those things, and they look cool.
They're insane, but I mean it's a seriously expensive bit of kit. I think they're like $2,400 US each, but they're for an obvious purpose.
Very specific.
So I think I worked out that Mondraker factory about 120 grand's worth of them. It's crazy, but they obviously need it, a production line. But pretty cool tech, I thought.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought of this week's show. Tell us what you loved. Get involved in the comments, and we'll see you next week. See you later.